Back here, first things first, Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan had an incredible season, almost equaling his career highs in passing yards, touchdowns, completion percentage, and quarterback rating, and he didn't have to travel too far to be able to take in the Super Bowl festivities down there in Atlanta. Matt, thanks for joining us and hanging out with us today. We appreciate you getting up and spending some time.
Yeah, happy to be on with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Give us a little flavor of what things are like in your backyard there in Atlanta. What's everything been like so far this week leading up to Sunday's game?
It's been good. You know, it's been a good start to the week. I think as the weekend, picks up, I think it's going to get busy here in Atlanta. But it's an amazing host city. They do this all the time. They're prepared for it, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Matty Ice, even after year number 11, and I sat down with you because I did one of your games, you're working on several things to try to improve. A lot of people out there in the football world don't realize that this was one of the best seasons that you've ever had. If after looking at all that film and studying yourself, give me a couple things that you're looking for this offseason to trying to put into your game as you get ready for 2019 football.
I think probably one of the biggest things for us and for myself personally is trying to find ways to use our tight end more effectively. I think this year Austin Hooper started to have a little bit of a breakout year. And then, I think he's such a good fit for us with the wide receivers that we have. He's a matchup problem for people. And so, I'm really going to work hard this offseason to get a good rapport with him and to find creative ways to use him. You've got to target those guys differently. You've got to throw to tight ends differently than you would wide receivers. So that's going to be a big point of emphasis for me.
Matt, pardon me, Matt, this year, as C mentioned, you put up nearly identical numbers to your MVP season. Obviously didn't maybe get the recognition because the team wasn't as outstanding as it was a few years ago when you did win the MVP. But I'm curious, when you see Drew Brees nearing year 40, Tom Brady in his early 40s, still playing at this high of a level, have you started to reevaluate how long you intend to play and how long you think you can maintain your play at this elite level?
I think those guys certainly give you motivation as a younger guy to believe that there's a lot more football in front of you, and they're playing at a high level into their 40s. I think if I can stay injury free, I certainly intend to play as long as I can, and as long as I'm playing at a high level. So I feel really good, and I'm really excited about what our future holds in Atlanta. I think we got a good football team coming back.
Matt, my free advice to you is forget 45. I say 50. I think go with 50. Make that your number. Start telling everyone in the media you want to play till you're 50. I think you'll be golden. Tell people I told you that. Let me ask
I like it. 17 more years. Let's go.
Why not? Like that. Piece of cake. Football's not physical at all. Hey, tell me a little bit about what Jared Goff is going through a couple days before he gets ready for his first Super Bowl. What's the environment like? What's going through his head? How hard is it to focus on the game with everything around him?
I think there's parts of the day that are a little bit different than your normal day-to-day getting ready for a game. For us, we had kind of all of our media obligations early in the morning, and so that was just a different routine from what was normal. But I think once they get into their meetings and once they're out on the practice field, it all becomes, very similar to what you do week in and week out. And I think, the key in postseason, and being successful in the postseason is to make it as normal as possible. And so, my hope would be that he's just getting into a normal routine and focusing on the preparation and getting ready to play this game.
Now, you're trying to get him to be normal. It's the most chaotic week. I mean, it's a world game. It's not just our game here in the U.S. Let's go to on the field. Bill Belichick, you talked about a couple days getting ready, adjusting to the media. As a quarterback, give me some real things, real adjustments, first half to second half, in facing Belichick 2 Super Bowls ago that you had to face, that Jared Goff is going to have to face Sunday.
Well, they're just so good at diagnosing what you're doing, what you're having success with, and then, making an adjustment and stressing your pass protections. For us, that was probably the biggest thing we had to adjust in the second half was their ability to kind of change their pressure package. And, they were able to create a turnover with a fumble that we had in a critical situation, off of getting us in pass pro. So I think if they're on top of their pass protection and good with their rules and good with their adjustments, that'll be, critical for them in the second half.
A big storyline in this Super Bowl is similar to the one in your guys' Super Bowl, which was a team with a ton of experience in games such as this one against a team with very little experience. And Chris talks about how that's not just on the field. It's the week leading up. It's people asking for tickets. It's, you alluded to the different media obligations. How much of an edge do you feel that is for the Patriots, who have, amazingly, a Super Bowl routine compared to the Rams, who only have 4 players who've ever played in this game?
Yeah, you know what? I wouldn't think it's that big of an advantage if the team had been there once or twice before, but going 9 times, it's like they do it every year. And so they have their Super Bowl routine, like you mentioned, down, to a science. But I think where it helps the most is like you mentioned, whether it's getting your tickets set up, your hotel reservations, trying to accommodate your family, making sure that everybody who means a lot to you is involved in this game and taken care of because you want them to be a part of it. But then also being able to compartmentalize that and focus on your preparation. I think that's where experience probably helps the most.
So, Matt, Nick asked you a little earlier about where you see yourself in your career going, if you see yourself playing into the 40s. This is a conversation because obviously we talk about this with Tom Brady seemingly every year, how long he could play at this level. How impressive is it to see what Brady's doing at a game that is as physical as it is, to be doing at the top of his game to get his team back to the Super Bowl? How impressive is that?
It's extremely impressive. His dedication, his consistency is really what I find most impressive. I mean, week to week, he is prepared. He plays exceptionally well. You know exactly what you're going to get from him. And for him to be able to do it at this point of his career, he kind of defies, that logic of that age number. I mean, he just continues to do the same things he's done for a long time. And it doesn't look like he's slowing down either. I mean, I saw, he said 0 chance this is his last game. So he's going to continue to do it. And, I hope to be able to do that myself.
Aqib Talib talks about Julio Jones being the prototype wide receiver. Now, you've been gifted Julio Jones. I know how you personally feel about him. You talked about Austin Hooper, getting some work with him this offseason. Share with fans some of the things that you do with Julio in the offseason, run down fields, abandoned AAU soccer fields and everything around the Atlanta tri-state area when you can't find the place, can't get the Falcons to open up the building for you.
No doubt. The collective bargaining agreement, sometimes you can't work out at the facility, which is hopefully that gets adjusted as we move forward. But those guys, I'm really lucky to play with teammates that are willing to work anywhere. And so we put in a lot of work during the off season and find times where we can get together individually and just, one, go out there and work on our craft, but also talk through it and really, make sure that we're on the same page so that when things happen in a game, you already know what the other person's thinking, how they're going to do it, and you can read body language. And that's probably the biggest thing, for me, that I've been able to give him opportunities for balls that I wouldn't give other guys because I know him so well.
Matt, you're wearing a shirt that says Delta on it. That can't be a fashion choice. I'm sure you are doing something associated with Delta this week. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing.
Well, I've been partnered up with Delta for a long time, and for me, this week is just about promoting our hometown. Delta is based here. This is my hometown as well, and I'm just so thankful to be a part of this team and to promote what a great job they do for not only this community but really the entire world. And I certainly have enjoyed them being our official airline for the Falcons for a long time.
Matt Ryan, thanks so much for hanging with us today. Enjoy
I'm getting ready to jump on Delta in a couple hours and come see you, Matty.
Thank you, Matt.
come this way, man.
Good stuff. Matt Ryan, thank you. All right, Saquon Barkley will join us live from Atlanta next on First Things First. Stay right here.